Automatically, when I hear the word superpowers and semen retention in the same sentence, I don't think of superpowers such as you saw in the thumbnail, like Mario shooting out fireballs, or the ability to fly or levitate or move things or read people's minds or anything of that nature. No. But you have the ability in a weird way, and I would call this, go so far as to call this a superpower, is to create your reality as you're retaining your seed. Because in a sense that you're overloaded with testosterone, right? Let's use this as an example. You got that high level of testosterone, which I consider a superpower. That's one of the superpowers, is having a high level of testosterone, which most likely a lot of you guys with that high level of testosterone are going to want to have the urge to go to the gym or lift weights at your house or whatever, get into fitness, right? And having that high level of testosterone triggers a lot of strength. Thus, for you can lift more heavy, or do more reps, or do that extra mile when you're doing cardio, things like that. I would consider that a superpower. And as far as like the superpower goes, also in a sense that you also have the discipline. To me, that's another superpower. The discipline, the godlike discipline. You know what I mean? Just as such, in a sense that you have the ability to say no to the hub, no to your hand, or no to that one girl who isn't your wife and you guys are going to fornicate before marriage. Like, that to me is a superpower. The fact that you're willing to say no to all of that is a superpower. You know what I mean? The fact that you have a friend trying to call you saying, hey, let's go out and drink this and that, which I don't necessarily don't have a problem with you guys drinking or anything like that. If it's done in moderation, I think it's fine. Or every now and then or once in a while. But every weekend, every day or whatever, I think, an overly huge consumption of alcohol, I think is bad. Or drugs as well. Drugs in period, I just don't think are well. But as far as alcohol, yes, alcohol, I think overly doing it and overly drinking, really, it doesn't get you anywhere. But the fact that you have the ability to say no to your friend, saying, nah, I gotta be up, I got a lot of things to do in the morning, this and that, I think that to me is a superpower. It just builds up a level of character, you know what I mean? To me, it's just a superpower in a sense that it just builds you up in a way, you know what I mean? It gives you strength in your mind. I would say that to me is a superpower. That strength, you know what I'm saying? The fact that you don't want to go to the gym, but you have the discipline. You know what? I gotta go. I have to go. This and that. That to me is a superpower. And no, I truly feel like semen retention, retaining your seed, plays a big, huge role in that. You know what I'm saying? Having that discipline, to me, that to me is a superpower. You know what I mean? So, excuse me. I feel that it's hard to really explain. I think the only logical reason is that the fact that you're retaining your seed, and that's life. You can create life with that seed, with that life force, and you're just retaining it, so you have so much of it. You know what I mean? To me, it's also, what else is a superpower, is that high level of energy that you give off. Those same people that had no respect for you, that wouldn't go out their way to say hi to you, whether it's a male or a female or whatever, now all of a sudden they sense your high level of energy. During your fapping days, you know what I'm saying? During your fapping days, when you had that low level energy, during your constant fapping days or constant fornicating days, nobody was checking in for you. You know what I'm saying? Now, whether it's at your job, or at school, or wherever, your environment or wherever, but now all of a sudden they notice you and they're starting to check in with you, going out the way to say hi to you, asking you questions. Now all of a sudden, because you're giving off that high level of energy, you know what I'm saying? That very high vibrational energy that people just want to be a part of. To me, that's a superpower. So, those kind of superpowers, I would say I would most likely prefer to call it superpowers rather than benefits, because I mean, if you think about it, there's benefits in dieting, there's benefits in fasting, there's benefits in fitness, there's benefits in lifting weights, there's benefits in doing cardio, you know what I mean? But that's why I really wouldn't want to call it I would much rather call it a superpower than a benefit, because anybody can do all those things, you know, dieting, fasting, and they're all called benefits, you know. But I would call it a superpower if because not very few are doing semen retention right now. Again, we live in an over hyperly sexualized society, so very few are practicing this practice. So you're one of the few, and that's on my last video where I spoke about the chosen few, you know what I mean? So to me, I feel that you're one of the part of the chosen few, the 1%, if you will, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just, you know, I think that's where God kept telling us in all those Bible scriptures, yo, like 100 times all over the Bible, yo, stay away from sexual immorality, flee away from sexual immorality. I truly feel that, but there's a whole, if you read, I think if you go on like Leviticus, there's a whole chapter based on semen retention, telling you to, you know, retain your seed, you know what I mean? So, you know, so that's just, yeah, semen retention is even in the Bible on Leviticus. If you go somewhere, I think in Leviticus, quote me if I'm wrong, guys, Leviticus or Genesis, I'm not so sure. But anyhow, yeah, it just tells you to retain your seed, you know what I'm saying? The excess of semen, you know. But anyhow, it's just it's a great thing, you know what I'm saying? And I think because there's power in retaining the seed, where I feel like the Lord, the Most High, told us to stay away from sexual immorality before marriage, at least, and just to retain, you know, because I feel like there is power. That's our power, gentlemen. That is our power right there, our life force. And the Lord is telling us to hold on to it. Do not release it. Do not spew it out. You know, if you have wet dreams, I mean, in my honest opinion, I mean, I'll save that for another video. I don't really think it's a relapse, but, you know, I'll release a video based on that. As far as my experiences, I don't think that's a relapse. But anyhow, guys, yeah, there is superpowers, you know what I'm saying? The high level of confidence too, the confidence that you just somehow have before, like, you know, before you were, I could tell you from my experience, when I was constantly releasing and constantly, you know, spewing it off my hand 5 times a day on the hub, 3 or 4 times a day or 5 times a day, honestly, and spewing out my life force, I didn't have the confidence like I did before. And I was quiet and shy and had anxiety, didn't want to go out and socialize. Now I just have the urge to go out and socialize and walk around the park, go to the gym, or at least the mall's close by. I'll just go out and get something to eat and walk around a little bit. So, like, you know, I'm very social, you know what I'm saying? My confidence is through the roof. The way I walk, I remember during my constant fapping days, I would just put a hood on. I'd put a jacket over me and a hood over me. But I feel like I don't need, well, right now it's winter, so of course, but, you know, now I don't even hesitate to, like, you know, if it's sunny, like if it's summer right now, once it gets summer, we're like a month away from spring. So once it hits spring, most likely it's going to be a little bit warmer. So I'm going to be walking out with my chest out like I always do, my head up. And that's how I, you know, once I got on, you know, SR, I started walking like that with such confidence, because the confidence meter and the energy is like literally through the roof. It's insane. So, you know, and also the need to be talkative. I was very quiet during my constant fapping days and my constant releasing days. But man, now that I'm like really obtaining, I can have a conversation with anybody. I can go up and just talk to some random people, you know, a person I don't even know, you know what I'm saying? Or go out my way to say hi to people. I normally do that. I don't normally do that. During my fapping days, I never did that. But once I started retaining, you know, I just, you know, if I'm walking by someone, doesn't matter, male or female, man or woman, I go out my way to say hi. Boy or girl, hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? So I never had that level of confidence to be confident like that, you know. But yeah, you know, it's just through the roof to be talkative. You know, when I'm at work, I'm willing to be talkative with other people. You know what I mean? Have a conversation, whether it's a new employee or not. I still go out my way to talk and be talkative, and just be very outgoing. You know what I mean? And it's just something. I don't know, man. If this was literally like a pill, if they ever turned, semen retention into a pill, man, this would be sold out. I think you'd have to buy it online or something, honestly, or it'd end up being illegal or something. So yeah, because there's power in it. That's why they call it superpowers. Now I fully get it, because there's power in it. That life force, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it's important to retain at all causes.